Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, welcome again to the Money Cure podcast, also named after a book called The Money Cure, available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. Make sure you pick up your copy. I'm your host, Reverend Sean Robert Grant, and hope this message finds you guys feeling well, feeling your best. I'm excited and thrilled to be back on the airwaves after a few months. Life is good. That's all I can say. Happy to say, hope the same for you. Because this is the first time I'm back in a few months, actually, I want to extend out a heartfelt, just complete heartfelt sense of gratitude and appreciation to each and every one of you listeners out there. It's pretty astounding to look at the statistics and see that we've got listeners in South Africa, Australia, Asia, just all over the place. We just picked up, I think in India now and stuff like that. But anyway, you guys are all over the place. Thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. It's just my pleasure, the exact same, to be able to bring you some of the wisdom, knowledge, insight, and understanding that I'm blessed and grateful to receive from the divine. So thank you in advance for that. Let's get rocking and rolling. If you have any questions, any corresponding feedback or anything like that you want to share, please write to shaung04@gmail.com. It's on the podcast website, I believe, as well. But if you have any questions about anything, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So let's dive into today's message. A bit of a repeat, but I kind of want to rehash this because I've been gone for a while, and it's letting go of the illusion of lack. Okay, letting go of the illusion of lack. Now, if you've listened to us in the past, we've gone over the reason why there can't be any lack, and I'm going to do the exact same thing today. Okay, if there was any lack in the universe, under any circumstance, any possibility whatsoever, the universe itself could not exist. And the reason being is because the universe is everything, right? It can't cease to be nothing. It has to be everything. And, because this is a spiritual podcast, let's just call it what it is. God is everything. All is God. God is all. In God, there is nothing that can be outside of God. That's where the term of omnipresence, right, and omnipotence comes from, meaning God is everywhere. So if God is everywhere, there can be no lack where God is. There can only be abundance. There can only be fullness. There can only be an overwhelming amount of resource, right? So that can get to be confusing, but if you get to a place to understand that, and understand that on a subconscious level, a subatomic level, you will begin to see that lack does not exist. Lack is an illusion. I love the Course in Miracles because the Course tells you the very thing you need to get rid of. The only belief you need to let go of is a belief in lack, right? And a belief in lack is only an illusion because it has been created by man, not by God, right? The thing is it's ultimately a sense of perception, if you will, because we can perceive lack, but the only way we perceive lack is that if we are unaware or do not have the awareness that what I just spoke of, that God is all and all is God. And God meaning money, God meaning resource, God meaning every single thing you can think of that is in this universe is all. So lack is therefore impossible, right? Now, I don't want to dive too much into the science because you're here because the podcast is called The Money Cure. You're like, okay, Reverend Sean, I get that. But how does this relate to the idea of money? Well, if you've been listening for a while, and if you don't, I'm happy to share with you. Money is produced based on our consciousness. Our entire resonant vibration is what produces money, just like it produces everything else, right? So if anywhere within your electromagnetic field, anywhere within your vibrational sphere of resonance, you possess lack. That lack is going to show up, right? But if you do as the Course in Miracles says, and you find a way to let go of the belief in lack, you will never lack for anything ever again in your life. I'll say that again, because that is so important to know and to realize and to understand. If you can clear the belief of lack within your electromagnetic field, your vibrational sphere of resonance, right? That's just your entire source of energy that makes up who you are. If you can clear the belief or beliefs in lack, you will never lack for anything ever in your life. And there's a chance that in your life, you're not lacking for anything in your life at all, right? Even when I begin to think of something like that, I realize that it's faulty because I have exactly what I need in every single moment that I need it. And oftentimes, actually more than oftentimes, it's in overflow, right? And I want to make this as practical as possible for you. So think about this. Sometimes we have a tendency to look at our financial situation and we think we're living in a space where we don't have enough. But I'm going to tell you something, right? Were you able to eat today? Were you able to pay your bills whenever they were due? Were you able to drive your car today? You know, if you're in the Western world, were you able to spend time with your family? Were you able to, do all of these things? Were you able to have money to put towards, a pair of shoes or clothing that you wanted? Were you able to do all those things? Now, some of that can be a luxury. So I'm going to break it down like this. Were you able to live your life how you choose to live it today? Because guess what? If you have, and you were able to do that, there's no lack, right? Lack specifically means that something is missing. But the very essence of God is nothing added, nothing missing, because it's all there. And if it's all there, it means that it's all there within us because we are God and God is us, right? It's a really, really profound concept to dive into. But once it is gotten and understood from a consciousness standpoint, it changes the game completely. Okay, so I was meditating this morning and I was actually diving into this subject, and a scripture popped up in my head, right? And I've studied this scripture for a long time, and look, the thing is it's spiritual in nature, but it's also practical, right? And it's Psalm 23, the very first verse in Psalm 23, and it says, it's two versions of it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing, is the New International Version of it. And I just thought about that. And I thought about it. And I thought about it. And then it kicked into high gear a level of understanding and a revelation as to what I just explained to you. Now, I've known this before, and I've understood it before. But this morning, which is why I'm doing this podcast, I had a deeper understanding of it all. And my intuitive guidance said, what would happen if you went through your life knowing that you didn't lack anything at all and you didn't have to control anything, and all you had to do was go out and have a good time? And so I mull that over. I'm like, that would be amazing. Like, life would be completely and utterly joyful in every sense of the word. It's like, well, just do it. What are you waiting on? And I'm like, okay. And I've done my best. It's about 6:26 in the evening here, and I've done my best to do that all day. And I tell you, it changed the way I've seen my life. I've lived my life. I found myself literally singing the majority of the day because I was in that good of a mood. I was experiencing that much joy along the lines of understanding that I was going through my day knowing that everything that I could have ever needed was already present. There was nothing was lacking under any circumstance. And I didn't have to control anything whatsoever, no matter what it was. I didn't have to control it. I just had to respond. But everything that happened, everything that unfolded, I had exactly what I needed. I had exactly what I needed throughout everything that unfolded. And it's the most remarkable shift in consciousness and paradigm that you could ever do for yourself, especially if you find that you're struggling financially, right? Because it's an easy thing to do. And here's why it's easy. Because most people look at money and think, if I can't see it, if it's not in my account, if it's not in my pockets, if it ain't somewhere where I can like physically grasp it, it doesn't exist. And so you know what happens? That builds a belief within the subconscious mind that then projects itself out into the reality of those people. You see the difference. I'm going to tell you the biggest difference for me would change things around. Just because I can't see it in my account, just because I don't see it in my pockets, just because I don't see it anywhere visibly in my environment at the moment, does not mean that it does not exist. I can see evidence of it all around me, right? In the cars, in the houses, in the businesses. It's everywhere. It shows me that it is not only physically, but energetically and spiritually everywhere. Now, once I know that, then it moved me to the place of, okay, how do you get to a place where you have this energy called money flowing to you? Well, you got to get rid of the lack, right? Because here's the thing. The mind is going to take, the subconscious mind is going to take what you believe and throw it onto the screen of your reality. And if you believe that the only money I have is the money I can see, the money I'm in possession of, you're going to have a little bit of it. Excuse me. But if you say, you know what? If God is all and all is God, and God is all the money in the world and God is me, that means I'm all the money in the world from an energy standpoint. That means I have access to a ton of it, an amount that would break all types of paradigms and mindsets once I realize that I'm just not limited to the money that is in my physical state or environment right now. It can come from absolutely anywhere. And all you got to do is set the mind, right? Set the mind up to understand, one, an idea for you, all that the Father hath is mine. Two, there is an infinite supply of money available right here, right now at every corner of the universe. And guess what? Once you get that idea, the idea has to show up in physical reality, right? But that cannot happen until we let go of the illusion that is lack, right? So before you do anything, before you start messing with your finances, let go of the illusion of lack, right? Understand, take the exact same guidance that my inner guide took to me, or gave to me rather, and said, imagine going through your life knowing that you just didn't lack for anything and that you didn't have to control anything, because control is a sense of lack and a sense of fear, and you could just go out and have fun and just do that. Just do that, right? And see how it unfolds, right? And also take it a bit further. Just because it's not registering in your account doesn't mean that it's not available, right? Just because it's not bunched up in your wallet doesn't mean that it's not available, right? It can come from all different types of directions that you have no idea, because your conscious mind can only do so much. But the subconscious mind, being God, being the all that is, can find channels to allow that money to zip on into your life. And it all has to do with the type of energy you're carrying, which is also rooted in the type of mindset you're carrying. And as long as that mindset and that vibration is rooted in abundance and not rooted in lack, you're going to keep manifesting not just money. We're talking about resources. We're talking about goods. We're talking about everything you could call on to live your life in a fulfilling way. But it's a matter of being able to see that in mind first before it manifests out in body in the material world. Okay? So the last thing I'm going to tell you, if we do nothing else, the first thing we have to do is let go of the illusion of lack. There is no lack. There is no lack. There's no lack. Lack does not exist. Because if lack does exist, the universe does not, God does not, and God exists everywhere. The universe exists everywhere, in every atom, in every molecule, in every bit of time and space that is not even measured. It exists everywhere. And that's all we need to know. If it exists everywhere, then that means there is abundance everywhere. And we just have to get to that belief. We just have to get to that realization. And once we do, the abundance floods into our life. Like I said, in the form of money, in the form of resources, in the form of whatever you need. That divine substance will create itself because you have adopted that mindset and you have let the illusion of lack go. Guys and gals, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. If you have any questions, you've got the email, shaung04@gmail.com. Other than that, enjoy your night, enjoy your morning, enjoy your day, wherever you are. We will talk soon. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.